Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the PDQ podcast, or actually webinar through PMQ. We're going to get started here shortly, but I did want to just kind of give it a little extra minute for everybody else who's just kind of late to the game to come in. I don't want to punish all of you guys who are here early, so we do appreciate that. I want to kind of introduce our panel real quick while we have some time. We have Mike Reniker of PDQ POS. Why don't you go ahead and say hello to everybody, Mike?
Hello.
Very literal man. And Larry Field, also of PDQ POS, who's going to give us the presentation today. I did want to tell everybody who's here early that we will have you have a question section on the side of your dashboard that you can ask questions. We'll go through our presentation and then we can answer those questions in real time afterwards. Me and Mike will be curating and moderating those. But I'm not going to waste too much time here. Just wanted to make sure that everybody had a little bit of time to actually kind of get in here. But if you're late to the game, you kind of missed the early guacamole. I don't know if it's a saying yet, but we're going to make it a saying. So, all right. So without further ado, guys, hello and welcome to the PMQ webinar series. I'm your host, Brian Hernandez. And today I'm joined by Larry Field of PDQ POS. And we're going to talk about how to make dollars and cents out of delivery. Now, while the pandemic has drastically altered the restaurant landscape in ways unimaginable, the sudden and dramatic shift to off-premises solutions has proven to be a needed template for sustainability. From native and integrated online ordering to enhanced delivery functionality that includes contactless and contactless service both at the door and curbside. These enhanced opportunities are highly subject to availability and mixed messaging from an array of providers. But that's not all. While most of the pizzerias have adopted delivery from the onset, the exponential growth of third-party providers adds another layer of complexity as well as cost. And Larry, man, he's here to cut through those weeds and explain the importance of this new industry pivot. So I did want to once again tell all the latecomers that you can ask questions of Larry and PDQ POS. There is a questions tab on your dashboard. But without further ado, Larry, why don't you go ahead and take it away?
Wow, Brian, thank you so much for the intro. I appreciate it. Hi, my name is Larry Field. I'm the head of marketing for PDQ Signature Systems. I'm here with my colleague, Mike Reniker, who's the head of sales for PDQ Signature Systems. And just want to say thank you for joining. Thank you for the gift of your time. I know that it is valuable, so thanks for spending it with us. For the next few hours, no, I'm joking. For the next 60 minutes, we're going to be talking about, trying to make it light here, we're going to be talking about things that are essential to your business, especially your pizzeria. And I hope you'll have a lot of questions. Mike could answer all those. And without any further ado, I guess let's go on with the show, Brian.
All right, next slide.
Aha. So, I've been doing this for 40-some years. It's obvious. Look at me. 1978 is when I started in marketing, and I worked for a technology company for a long, long time. And I'm here because, let me just give a little quick plug about PDQ Signature Systems. The top-rated all-concept point-of-sale system built for pizzerias, really. And I just want to, as a teacher, which is what I've used to do for a long time as well, I just want to set expectations before we go into something. So I'm not going to bore you to death and read it. It's not going to be death by PowerPoint. But if you're here to learn about off-premise as they relate to delivery, this is the right place. Next slide, please. Okay, so there's 4 things on the agenda that I really want to talk about. And I'm not going to talk for a long time. I'm hoping it's going to be more interactive. So I'll try to educate and then we'll go from there. But I do want to talk about the new normal briefly. I want to talk about online ordering. I want to talk about the new functionality that point of sale has to have. And there's something called Delivery Toolkit, which I'm going to get into as well. So with that, let's roll the tape. Let's roll the next slide, please. Okay, so section 1, change and opportunities. We all know what's been happening lately with the pandemic, how it's affected businesses. Pizzerias are shifting. Look, you've always been involved with delivery and takeout. We've always said pizzerias, there are so many ways to order a pizza, and there's so many ways to get your pizza fulfilled, right? You've got in-premise, not yet, but soon. You've got dine out, you've got phone in orders, you've got web orders. There's so many ways. So we understand that the challenge now is off-premise pivoting. However, it's not going to go away, as we'll see on the next slide, please. While we're waiting for the next slide, I can do some shadow puppets.
I'm there, I'm coming.
Oh, okay. So I just want to talk about what's the new normal. I'm thinking that off-premise solutions are here forever. I mean, obviously, there's online ordering and there's third-party platforms, which we're going to talk about. But the enhanced would be contactless and the enhanced delivery function. So by contactless, I mean when someone comes and says, I want you to drop the order off at curbside, and there's going to be no real interaction. You'll get handed something by the driver, by someone at the store, but there's not going to be the come in part. It's going to be contactless from curbside. And then there's also going to be delivery, where delivery is now contactless as an option, where you simply drop the food off at the door. So that's really important. And I just want to make sure that whoever POS you have, it has to be ready to handle things like this. It's not going away. Contactless is here to stay. It's a preference of choice for people for a number of reasons. So I just want to say, we're going to accept the new normal. Okay, you have to be ready for it. So if we go to the next slide, we will see. I'm going to talk about online ordering. There's a lot to online ordering that I want to say. And let's get on to the next slide, and you'll see what I mean, because I think there are three ways to do online ordering. And obviously, there's third-party integration, there's native integration, and there's a hybrid approach. And I'm going to talk about all three, but what I mean is I've been reading more and more and more from owner-operators across the country. And as I see it, there are deep marketing dollars by the third-party platforms that say, you need us, it's going to get you more sales. I hope so. I don't personally believe it may be more sales. It may be a shift in sales. It may be a shift to online ordering, which would have been pickup or it would have been dine-in. But is it really getting you more? And with the fees, are you really making money? And that's so important, because I understand that your margins are really thin. So let's talk about this and see if there's an approach that you can use that could help solve everything to get you more people and help you make more money. So we'll go to the next slide and we'll talk about third-party integration overview here. And what I wanted to say about third-party, obviously the pros and cons, and we can debate this all the time. Please feel free. If there's anything I say in this presentation that you want to talk about, reach out to me. I'll give you my email. In fact, I'll give it to you now. It's my name, Larry.Fiel, F-I-E-L, at pdqpos.com. Be more than happy to talk to you about this from an educational standpoint, to get you understanding what I see in the marketing realm and in the technology realm. So to put it really mildly, to just go on the surface here, there are pros and cons about third party. More eyeballs. I mean, you want more people coming to you. That's the name of the game. You want more people. The third party platforms promise that. Now, would you be getting that clientele anyway? Maybe you would. Maybe the same people that would come to you, maybe they would come to you anyway, and they're going through the third-party platforms that you have, and it's eating up your margin. It's possible. It's possible if you're getting more people, and that's wonderful, people that you wouldn't get. And the pro, aside from the economy of scale with more people and more eyeballs, or what I call it, is they do delivery. Now, but pizzerias, typically you already do delivery. So we're going to talk about that as well, how to enhance your in-house delivery. But in a nutshell, what you're being promised by third party, and I'm not anti-third party, I just want to educate you, is that you're getting more eyeballs and you're getting delivery with the online ordering. Okay, so what's the downside? The downside is the added costs. Obviously, a loss of margin. And if they charge you 20% or 30%, so what do you have to do? We have to raise prices. You know, you can have it where your prices are regular prices in the store, or if they order directly from you. But if they go through a third party, it's raised by 5% or 10% or whatever you want. You can do that. In a downturn economy during a pandemic, it's tough to raise prices, but I understand the dilemma. You have to really to make up for it, or at least hope to make up for it. The only thing that bothers me, being a marketing guy, is I'm all about brand. So what is brand? Brand is your reputation. Brand is what people think of you. Who are you? I would hate for your brand, everything you've worked for as an independent, a chain, or a franchise, it's your baby, and you've worked really hard for this. The potential for unhappy customers. If third-party provider has poor service or late delivery, do you think they get blamed? No, they call up you at the store and say, my food's cold, my pizza's late, I didn't know when it was coming, it's not on time, you said, you promised, the guy was rude, whatever. That's a loss of brand. So there's a fine line between pros and cons here, and I'm kind of hoping that maybe people start taking back their brand. So we're going to talk about that. So we go to the next slide. And the next slide really talks about native. So what's native? Okay, native is a program that's built into your POS. It's typically designed by your POS company, and it's native integration rather than integration to a third party. So when I use native, I'm talking about software that's inherent to your point of sale, written by your point of sale company. At PDQ, we have native online ordering. And there's three things I like about it. It's the 3 C's. It's custom, cost, and control. What I like about custom is the fact that when you go to a third-party platform, you're just another fish in the sea. You don't stand out. They may know you and look you up, or they may go by zip code and find you along with your competitors. But bottom line, there's nothing that really makes you stand out. If it's custom, it's everything you want. It's your website, it's your look, it's your feel, it's your colors, it's your brand. That is the custom look. The cost look is, wow, numerous in value, because typically you should be paying at any company, I know at PDQ POS, yes, one flat, low monthly fee for unlimited access. There's no commission, there's no, oh, if you sell this much, you pay this much, people have ordered too many times. No, it's unlimited for a low flat cost. That's really, when you think about the cost, it might be a few pizzas per week. I mean, it's ridiculously cheap. It should be, it better be. And then we talk about control. And control goes back to brand, where now you have control. It's your drivers, it's your time frame, it's your customer service. And I really think that what separates businesses, yes, it's your food, it's your customer service. So I'd like you to take that back. So that's a second option, is have your own natively integrated online ordering. So you're saying, okay, well, gee, I could do one or the other, right? I have my third party, or I have my online ordering native through my POS provider. Is there something else? So that's what I came up with hybrid, which is appropriately on the next slide. As we wait for the slide to change, I'll do some shadow puppets. Okay,
I'm there.
hybrid. Okay, so here's the spin. Here's what I'm thinking. Here's my thoughts in a nutshell. Why can't you have the best of everything? Why can't you use an integrated third-party platform of choice? I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying you could. You get more people looking at your menu. Isn't it a numbers game? Yes. So you do that. But if you just did that, you may grow your business, or you may shift your business to more online ordering. But either way, when you think about the fees you're paying, the more you sell, not necessarily the more you earn, the more you make. And at the end of the day, your bottom line is how much is in your pocket. So what I'm saying is you could use that. But if you reached out to your POS provider and said, hey, I want native online ordering, okay, which is kind of counterintuitive because you have online ordering from third party. But follow me here. If you had online ordering, which is basically a custom made site, and it's a hyperlink on your website that people could bookmark the hyperlink on their phone. And when they go to your website, big letters, online ordering, click here. And it's your brand, it's your colors, it's your everything, and your low prices because you don't have to raise them. You're going to maintain control. Now, how does it work together? Part number 3. After anyone orders from a third-party platform, it's simple. You know who they are. Reach out to them. Maybe you put a flyer in their order, inside the bag of food, inside the box of pizza, whatever. Reach out to them, text them, email them, call them, put a flyer and say, hey, thank you for ordering from me via the third-party platform. But you know what? Next time, go to my website and order from there. And you could give them rewards. PDQ has a PDQ native reward program. Your POS provider, if it's not PDQ, hopefully has a reward program. Offer them dollars off. Offer them a free topping next time. Just do something to teach them next time they order. I'm going to order right from the website because they're going to get reward points, they're going to get a special deal, and you're going to train them. And trust me, the reward points and the special deal, even if 5% off or 10% off is cheaper than the 20 or 30% fee you're paying. And that way, you proactively teach them to bypass third parties and come right to you. Now, why is that good? It's good because the more you sell, the more you're going to earn. And most importantly, from a marketing perspective, is you're going to have great customer satisfaction. And that will drive more people to your site than the eyeballs that you may be getting third party. I'm just saying, because when you have control over your service, you're going to have happy customers. So that's the online ordering part. And we could talk about this. I'd be more than happy to discuss with you more pros and cons. But in a nutshell, that's what I'm trying to present here. Okay, so we'll go to the next slide, which, POS functionality, new POS functionality. We talked about what's happening and what's the new normal, and we all agree it's contactless. So just make sure, ask your POS provider and say, hey, does the POS handle contactless automatically? Or is this something I have to write? Is this something I have to educate? What do I have to do? And the next slide will show you what I mean. The bottom line is there are really two ways, okay? So let's say, looking at this slide here, the picture number one is basically your online ordering site. Native online ordering, it looks just like your site. And you see there's delivery, there's pickup, and there's curbside pickup. Something brand new that nobody ever really thought of prior to now, but now it's kind of essential that it's curbside pickup. And looking at the image on the right, you see at checkout, if it's not curbside pickup and if it's delivery, the customer has a choice now. Hand it to me like you normally would, like we've been doing for years, or leave it at my door. These are really essential and critical POS functionalities that need to be in your point of sale. This is not going away. And we'll see on the next slide, I think it's the receipts. Yes, so for your driver, so he or she knows, and also for all of your reporting on the back end, so you see where web delivery, contactless, web pickup, curbside. So this functionality is something that hopefully your POS provider has, and if they don't, ask them why. It's really important that they do nowadays. Okay, next slide. Oh, delivery toolkit. So I was thinking, since pizzerias are really immersed in delivery, what would you, the store owner, operator, need to be successful in delivery? And I came up with a bunch of questions. You could actually go to the next slide, please. And I promised that I wouldn't do death by PowerPoint, meaning reading everything that's on the screen, but I have to. Please, just bear with me. One slide I'm going to read, and I'm saying really that there's so much going on nowadays with off-premise, and off-premise is here to stay. And I just want to say there should be an innovative, cost-effective, best-of-breed software application. We have it. Obviously, I'm talking about it at PDQ POS, but ask your POS provider, do you have this? Because these are things that you want to have, and if you have from your POS provider, you should be asking them the questions, can you serve my needs for now and going in the future? That's what innovation is. It serves the future. Okay, we want to leverage third-party integration with the native online ordering that we talked about. We want to also enhance in-house delivery with the needed functionality. We want to elevate the customer service we talked about. We also want to have tools for drivers that are available to make them do their jobs even easier and better for the customer. We want to simplify driver tip and receipt reconciliation. Can you imagine when it's the end of shift and all your drivers coming back to the store and they're waiting in line to go to the POS and waiting in line to do all that reconciliation work? They can do it from their phone. They do it right from the app. That saves a lot of time and money. How about you as a store owner operator trying to assess your performance of your drivers, to know where your drivers are when they're on the road, where are they, what are they doing, and to, I would say importantly, most importantly, make sure that you're paying what you should be paying, no more, no less, for accurate mileage and road time for delivery. So you want to adhere to the labor laws of your state and to the federal laws to make sure time on road, time in house, mileage driven, and all that should be easily available. Thanks for being with me while I read a lot of that. Let's go to the next slide, please. And I want to talk about whatever comes up. Okay, so fortunately, there's something that we have called PDQ Delivery Toolkit. And ask your POS provider if they have that or something like it. And basically what it is on the next slide. I think I'll tell you what it is, really short and sweet. And it is, okay, so it's an integrated application that helps delivery in a variety of ways that are measurable. And there's really 3 parts to it, you'll see on the next slide. Okay, there's one app with many tools. There's something for the drivers, there's something for the customers, and there's something for the store owners. Put your photo there, please. I know, I can hear everybody laughing. I really can't, but I'm assuming you are. And we go to the next slide. Okay, this is really what's it. This is the major slide that your POS provider may have some, all, none of this, but in a nutshell, this is what you want, this is what you need, this is what you deserve. For drivers, remember, it's one application on the smartphone. Driver mapping, that's essential. How about the order accuracy, where it brings up the order and it says, don't forget, don't forget the side of sauce. Well, things that typically could be forgotten. Where's the extra cups or the extra napkins? Something to make the customer experience a happy one. And of course, I mentioned receipt and tip reconciliation, which is going to save the drivers a lot of time. It's going to save a lot of hassle, and it's going to be real easy because it's all done on the app, and the app is for your iPhone and your Android, by the way. Now, what's in it for customers? Well, how about real-time text notifications? So your customer knows when it left the store. It knows on the way. There are things the customer knows that are important rather than just leaving the customer in the dark. It's as easy as a push of a button on the phone. How about contactless options? We talked about why that's important. Is a contactless delivery where you just drop it off at the door, and then when you drop it off at the door, you press another button on your phone to let them know that, hey, their food is right out on their front porch at the front doorstep. So there's a lot of automation here. And really what you want, because it's mapping, you want a prompt order, because there's reminders, you want an accurate order, and it keeps your customers happy to enhance your satisfaction. Now, you're probably thinking, that's great. What's in it for me as the owner operator? What do I get? Well, it's really cool. There's a dedicated driver tracking map that you could actually, this is really cool, you could actually put it up on a monitor or something. You put it up on a screen where you could actually be looking, and you can do this from anywhere. You could be on a beach in Aruba and you could say, I wonder what they're doing, and bring up things up on a screen. Where you could actually look and say, what are my drivers? Where are they? Where's Tommy and Johnny and Sally? What are they doing? Where are they? And you could actually see where they are. You'll know where your drivers are all the time. How about full statistical reporting? That's really important. You need the reports. So you do, remember we talked about payment. We talked about being able to comply with labor laws and things like that. Plus there's so many other things. If the POS handles orders, which is what it does, it also handles all the transactions and all the back-end stuff. And this is all part of it that you'll know in all these reports that you get to learn the true health of your delivery. Assessing driver performance, interesting. You're looking and you know that Johnny should be going 5 miles northeast on Route 1. And you're watching Johnny go 3 miles northeast on Route 1, and then he's turning off somewhere and he's stopping for 10 minutes. And then he gets back into his car and then he delivers the food. What? So I'm just saying, knowing what your drivers are doing, good and bad, is really a help to you and your business and your client satisfaction. Data for compliance with labor laws we talked about. How about integration? Remember how we said a little while ago, we said, hey, online ordering, 3 ways. There's the hybrid approach. So integration to DoorDash, integration to Uber Eats, integration to the third parties, combined with your native integration by your POS provider, and you have this hybrid approach, which is best in breed for a number of reasons. You have integration to PDQ POS, but that's not all. There's integration to PDQ online ordering, which is native, and there's integration to PDQ rewards, which is native. So for you having integration to the third parties, having integration to PDQ POS and all of its other facets like reward and online ordering is something that you have to ask your POS provider and say, hey, do you have this? I really need this. I want this. And see what they do. And if they do, great. And if it's working for you, great. I'm happy to educate. If not, I think there's a better solution. So I think, what's the next thing? Are we going to see a little 2-minute video? I'm thinking maybe coming up on the screen. Oh, yeah.
If delivery is not a big part of your business, it should be. After all, the current health crisis and its aftermath may change the landscape forever. But successfully managing delivery is not as straightforward as it should be. While there are numerous third-party providers, offsetting their costs typically requires you to raise menu prices. And in an economic downturn, that's a scary proposition. It's time to think about in-house delivery differently with the new Delivery Toolkit app from PDQ. By offering unique tools for you, your drivers, and your customers, the PDQ Delivery Toolkit saves time, effort, and costs. Drivers, detailed route mapping, facilitate contactless delivery, item reminders for order accuracy, easy receipt tip reconciliation, customers, text notifications with order status times, text notifications for orders dropped at doors for contactless delivery, on-time orders with order accuracy, store owners and operators, dedicated driver map capable of being displayed on a station monitor. Always know where your drivers are. Full back-end reporting so you can easily assess driver performance, good and bad. Complete native integration to PDQ POS, PDQ online ordering, and PDQ rewards. Discover how PDQ Delivery Toolkit can elevate your delivery. Visit pdqdt.com today or call us at 877-968-6430 and schedule a comprehensive no-cost consultation today. Don't let doing delivery right pass you by. Part of the PDQ family of proven, innovative point-of-sale solutions for restaurants and retail, the PDQ Delivery Toolkit app is seamlessly integrated with PDQ online ordering, PDQ rewards, and the PDQ POS all-in-one system.
It's an honor and privilege to serve the pizzeria industry, the restaurant industry. I know right now is a difficult, challenging time. We're with you. Whatever we can do to help you grow your business, that's what we do. So I guess any questions? Mike, you're on now. Fire away, Mr. Reinecker.
Ready, waiting.
All right. Well, we did have a lot of questions. I don't want to say unfortunately, but a lot of them that we received were actually answered as they came in. You'd be surprised to see how many that they would ask a question and then you actually answered them in real time, Larry, just through the presentation. So we did have some that were actually put forward beforehand. Some of you guys submitted them beforehand. So I think one of the first one, Larry, or I'm sorry, Mike, would you agree is kind of one of the better ones is my website the best option for online orders?
I would say yes, it is in the long term. In the short term, maybe those third-party guys get them interested in your place. They may not know that you're even around the corner from them for all these years. Who knows? But they get on Grubhub, they get on DoorDash, they get on whatever, and then they realize how close you are. Then guide them to your website, like Larry was saying, through flyers, through, we can even put notes at the end of the receipt saying, go to www.domspizza.com, whatever it may be. But ultimately, coming through your site, you control everything. You control the data, you control all of the statistics that go with it, and you can control, everything that happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was a comment from Bob, one of our watchers here. He said it's a comment, not a question. Several third-party platforms allow you to have higher prices than in your own store prices. He raised his 10 to 12% on the third-party platforms, and not one of his customers has actually complained. And they've actually, I guess he says, and my third-party orders have actually increased 2 to 3 times since COVID. He wants to know what your guys' thoughts are on that, as far as having. I guess this almost answers another question that was submitted beforehand. How can you lower my third-party delivery partner costs? And I think you had mentioned, Mike. What did you say?
It's not a question. Yeah, it's not a question of lowering them. It's a question of raising your base prices that are made through them, so that your customers are covering those costs. DoorDash, they're not going to reduce their fees. Uber Eats isn't going to reduce it. So you need to get that money back from the customers. A lot of our guys have 2 separate menus. They'll have a POS menu that has their normal prices, and then they'll have a DoorDash menu that everything's 20% higher, something like that, or 25% higher, just to help cover the fees. On the POS, it's pretty simple. You just hit the button, and now all of a sudden you're on new pricing. So all the items transfer just the same, and everything is fine. Just the bottom line is a little higher.
Well, it sounds like you're just saying like alternate menu. You integrate that into the menu, so you're not eating the cost. The customers are. That's honestly the easiest way to kind of get around that.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now I wanted to ask this. This is from Dennis McQuinn. I'm not sure if he's still here, or Matthew McQuinn, but he was wondering what kind of the best insurance for delivery drivers are, but that's not necessarily what you guys handle, is it?
No, we're a point of sale company. I will say this though, with our system, we'll be able to track how long they're on the road, so you can get that to your insurance company and possibly save some money that way. Typically, guys have drivers that they're paying their insurance for, and if they're working an 8-hour shift, they got to pay them based on being on the road for 8 hours. If you're able to provide them actual time on the road, you could save a ton of money that way.
Well, there was another question that actually came through too, is that how do you guys actually track the drivers on delivery? I know that Larry was talking about you could be at a beach in Mexico watching your drivers go here and knowing if they take a wrong turn, but is that done through their smartphones? Is it some kind of technology you give them to integrate into the POS? How does that work?
No, it's done through their smartphones. They'll have a little application that they download, and then from there, and it'll only work when they're clocked into the POS. So a little QR code that they, hit the little QR code that signs them in, and then at the end of the shift, once they log out, it takes them off. So they're not tracking them all the time. They're just tracking them when they're working for the restaurant.
Well, and that's good too in this age of everybody being feared of being tracked everywhere. Nobody needs that. So that's a great answer right there. Kaylee asks, what is the best way to make up costs using third-party deliveries? Now, I know you were saying alternate menus. Are there any other options that you guys have or tips that you can give them? Because I know we talked about the 3-tier system. Larry mentioned that, and I have another question on that coming up here. But what are the best ways to kind of make up some costs, other ways to make up costs using third parties?
Yeah, use the third parties against themselves. Again, they're bringing customers to you that you may not have already. The trick is to do as much aggressive marketing to get them off of the third parties in the future, and go right to yours. So the short term is you're losing a bit, but the long term is I got a guy that I never had before, thanks to Uber Eats, thanks to DoorDash, and I'm not paying those added fees. Now those guys are pretty sneaky. You know, they'll Google, they'll advertise their phone number ahead of your own. So you got to be very careful on that stuff. So if I'm Mike's Pizza and I Google Mike's Pizza, it might be DoorDash's phone number that shows up before my own. So you got to be careful and watch that stuff too, because you'll get charged on every order that comes through, that goes through DoorDash directly to yours.
Point, Mike. That's a fabulous point.
Yeah, and that's a whole nother show on that. But so I mean, so I know that you actually mentioned this, but I mean, what exactly does native integration mean? Mal was asking this question, but I mean, it means native integration is as far as like online ordering through the current POS that they have, be it you or whoever else, correct?
Yes, yes, Brian. Native integration means that the software is written for the POS by the POS developers. It's in-house. It's made to work together. So native means it's think of it as what's internal to the point of sale. Everything, all the programs are integrated in, versus integration, which we call seamless, which typically goes to a third-party platform.
Yeah.
So you have seamless platforms that we integrate to. We have native where it's all combined, where you don't have to go third-party out to anyone. So that's what that means.
Think of it this way. People are selling pizza kits now. That wouldn't be a native Mike's Pizza because I'm requiring somebody else to do a lot of the work, versus if they just bought the large pizza, that's a native pizza to Mike's Pizza versus a pizza kit that would go elsewhere. There's a lot more chance for mistakes if all of it goes elsewhere and someone else is required to put it all together.
Right. So basically, native, I mean, obviously means utilizing your on-site delivery staff as well. Okay.
Yeah, well, and that way you've been doing that probably now, pizzerias typically do, and that's the other question. You probably have an internal delivery staff, and I just like having that control. It's interesting, talk about business where we here at PDQ, everything is done in-house. So why? Well, because when things are done, like Mike said, with the pizza, outside, you lose that control. And I think having that control is what we do best. It's what you do best as a business. So that's all part of your brand. So clients obviously they want great food, but they want your great service. And you lose the service when you third party it.
Yeah, well, and I mean, yeah, that's a big argument there. And another question that we had, is it better to start your own in-house delivery service versus third parties? And I still have another question that maybe touches on that, but Mike, it seemed like you wanting to say something about that.
Oh yeah, I think the one thing that the third party guys do great is somebody who doesn't do any online ordering or delivery or any of that stuff. They can kind of use these guys to dip their toe in the water and see if it's worth it or not. Maybe you don't want to take the plunge and just go all in and get hire a bunch of drivers and do it yourself. The DoorDashes and stuff can let you kind of see what is the market for delivery of my food, and then decide to add it later on.
But actually that leads into one of the other questions that I did have from Jane. She wants to know, what is the best out of the three delivery options, which were, third party, native, and hybrid? And I mean, how do you best choose for your business? I mean, do you have any kind of milestones for a business to where they should choose third party? I mean, what are your options on that?
I think it's feel. I think it's time to do this all on our own. I think we can slowly transfer people over. I think if you're not doing delivery at all and you start with a Uber Eats or a third party guy, at some point you'll know that, okay, I'm losing too much money by not doing this myself. Then you go into the hybrid stage of this. You're doing some of your own, some of theirs, and then it slowly switches to just 100% yours.
Well, do you guys consult on that? I mean, I'm sorry, Larry, go ahead.
I was just saying, Mike, that's a perfect answer. if you don't have delivery inside, starting up, the costs. Why not dip your toe into the waters of delivery? I'm not anti-delivery, anti-third party. I'm just saying that you'll know once you grow, you'll say, wait a minute, we could do this more effectively and or better, or cost-wise or cost-conscious doing it internally. And if you can, you develop a hybrid approach. But I think Mike's right. You just try it because it does work. It's just that there needs to be an end game where you take back. So that's why.
Well, I mean, that's what it is. I mean, it's just whatever the most gain that you can get for your business. I mean, do you guys, if they reached out to you at, what was it, larry.fiel@pdqpos.com, I mean, would you guys consult them on, you know, a case-by-case basis on what you think would be their best avenue of you know, integrating either third-party or just native or hybrid?
I'll answer any question someone sends. I don't have a problem at all. You know, you may not like the answer, you may not agree with the answer. That's fine, but at least it's what I think. So it hurts to help people. So absolutely.
You'll get
That's why it's consulting and not foreseeing. You know, it's like, this is what we think. So if it works for you, it works.
Yeah. I could talk about the marketing aspects and talk about brand, but Mike would he'd be able to tell you he has a lot of years of experience at doing what he's doing right now.
Why there's no hair.
Yeah, right. Welcome to the club. Yeah. Advising customers, advising people, consulting, telling them, you know, what he thinks they should do, especially in this day and age. So yeah, we'd be more than happy. We're full transparency, and we're more than happy to discuss.
Yeah, he's right. When we go on site, one of the few things that we do is walk us through an order. We're more consultants than anything else. You know, I've left many a place without a sale, but with a friend, you know, that now decided to go with a different type of oven and a different way to do different aspects of it just from listening to us, because we're in thousands of different pizzerias all the time. We get the benefit of seeing how everybody's doing it and offering up those options to everybody. It doesn't have to be about POS only. It can be on just drivers, ovens, bags, menus, anything.
Well, that's actually a very nice segue. You guys are making my job really, really easy. We did have a question from Wash. He wants to know, is delivery important for a business that is not delivered previously, currently? And I mean, is this more about, is this integration of POS, is it more about getting deliveries out there, or is it more about getting orders? So, I mean, I guess there's kind of a two-part question. Is delivery important right now? And is this what you guys offer? Is it more about getting orders, or more deliveries?
Yeah, delivery is more important than ever, at least for the next couple of weeks, if not a couple more months. I mean, delivery is absolutely key. You know, just look at the people who weren't doing it at all. They're struggling. Now they might be doing pickup and they might be doing takeout, but people still don't even want to do that. They just want it delivered. So more so than ever, delivery is key. Does that last forever though? I don't know. It may switch back, but all I can answer is today, yeah, it's more important than ever. And then obviously the more orders you get, the better off you are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the term off-premise is the term of the 2020 and beyond, where off-premise would be things that don't happen, things that happen outside of your eat-in premises, be it delivery, be it takeout, things like that. So I think it's really important. I think the dollars that are invested in marketing to get people the convenience of delivery is not going to go away. So I think in marketing, you go where the audience goes, and your audience is going toward off-premise and delivery right now. I think they're going to stay there largely, but you know, look, everyone can't wait for the days when they go back into your restaurant and sit down. There's something special about being in a restaurant and sitting down with friends and family and eating food. I love it.
Absolutely.
and we'll get
Nope.
there.
No,
in
and
the meantime,
I wanted to ask you say off premise. Is that how you pronounce it? Because every time I see it, I don't want to say it that way. I want to say off premises. What's the correct terminology for that right now? This just a
it's
silly
off-
question for me, by the way.
Yeah,
Away.
good question. It's off premise.
Premise.
But you're eating off premises.
Yeah. Oh, look, I got him. I got Larry. You're off premises. Off premises. Anyway, that's not important. I do have a couple.
Off-premise solution that takes you eating off the premises.
I like it. We're gonna coin that. We'll put it on a T-shirt. All right, I do have a couple more questions.
I'm surprised that no one's asked what PDQ means, but we'll save that for the 3:59 hour, right?
Yeah, so I do have a couple more questions here real quick. Another one from Bob. He wants to know, let me see if I can pull this up. Do you recommend sealing third-party orders with some kind of tape to secure the food so that it's not tampered with? And that's a great question because, again, as you said, once it leaves your premises and you have this jabroni over here who's just, they're working for their money, but I mean, they don't understand how to deliver food sometimes. I mean, again, they're a reflection of your company at the customer's door.
Yeah.
You recommend that?
I would. If you can swing it, the more you can protect it from being messed with in any way, the better off you are. Again, though, that starts adding cost and time and other aspects to it. But yeah, you need to protect your brand, as Larry's PowerPoint was talking about, and that's one of the key ways.
You know, I never thought about that question, but it's a fabulous question. And you know what? You put some tape around it and then you reach out to the customer and say, hey, just want to make sure, was your order taped when you received it? You know, I mean, I would hate to think that we have to, but.
I'd hate for the customer to go, oh, I don't remember, and then they're worrying all night, though. I don't know, was the tape in the gun? So
Yes,
I make that off stance myself.
Double-edged sword, but yes, I do know a pizza place here in Oxford, Dodo's Pizza, that actually did that years ago when they started. They would put that seal on there just to make sure that, you know, when you get it, you're the one breaking the seal. So I would definitely say yes. There's nothing to say that you cannot tape your own pizza boxes with a labeled tape or sticker from your own restaurant. Especially now, I would try to do that. We do have another question from Roy, and I'm trying to, I think there might have been a typo in here. Would a question about drive-through functionality be able to be answered or just focusing on delivery? So I think he's wanting if you guys can actually talk about drive-through functionality as well.
Yeah, we do a bunch of Jimmy John's all over the country. A good 40% do drive-through. So rock on, what's your question?
That was it. I mean, basically, do you guys? I mean, that's all he said. Roy, go ahead and if you're still here, throw another one up. But I mean, he was just wondering if you guys do drive-through functionality as well.
Yeah, we do. The best way to do it is I'll preemptively answer his question. Have stations side by side, one with a cash drawer, one that with the headset. One person's taking the orders with the headset all day long on the one station, while the other one is paying out those cars, handing them their food on the other one. Fast. There's no downtime. We can even do drive-through timers where you can measure the time that it takes to place the order, measure the time to get to the payout window, measure the time to pay out, and then the total time. And then we can provide all that kind of data for you. And so you can determine, you know, let's say you set a par of 4 minutes to get through the drive-through and you're meeting that 90% of the time. Well, we'll be able to tell you who was working those 10% that didn't make it so that you can work with them and get them up to speed.
I'm not sure. Honestly, Roy, did that answer your question? Because he did just chime in back, put another question up there. Drive-through timers and stats, also if they can charge on an iPad a la Chick-fil-A, which, you know, I'll say that, you know, they kind of get ahead of the curve there. So, all right, Roy says yes. Mike, you nailed it.
Yeah, we can do tablets too. We can do outside tablets like Chick-fil-A and stuff. They're not iPads. We don't use iPads. iPads are cheap. iPads break. iPads aren't the best thing in the world, but we do tablets and stuff like that.
All right. Well, I mean, it sounds like guys, you kind of anticipated that. I already have things ready to go here. This is a different conversation we're having. So honestly, I don't think that I have any other curated questions here. Are there any other a few things that you want to just let people know about this integration as far as third party, hybrid, and native. Just why it's important right now, and how you guys are making it easier.
No, I think I would urge people to email Mike at mike@pdqpos.com, or you can email sales@pdqpos.com, and Mike will get that as well. Mike has a ton of experience, knows the industry like no other, and he's really happy and helpful to answer questions. Real quickly, PDQ, it used to stand for Pizza Delivery Quick Service, and it still does kind of, but it's really pretty darn quick because we're fast in everything we do. We're fast cycle. So I know that was a question. That was probably Brian's question, right?
Most likely. I mean, that's when I hear PDQ, I think pretty darn quick, but that means as far as in the restaurant industry, that's what you want to do. That and KISS, keep it simple, stupid. So those are a couple of good acronyms that we have. But I always just kind of assumed it was. I'd heard the story years ago, but it doesn't matter as long as I know what you guys are doing is good, which I see. I mean, you're integrating a lot of, you're innovating right now when people need to be actually evolving. So I don't see any more questions here necessarily. I think we've answered most of them. But everybody, this video will be up. If you have any other questions, reach out to larry.fiel@pdqpos.com or mike@pdqpos.com. They will be able to answer any of your questions you have about this integration system, as far as about just third-party contactless and native as well as hybrid. So one final affirmation, Larry, for the industry. It's something to make us leave feeling good.
Oh my goodness, I can't wait to go home and get a pizza right now. The great news is that we will get through the pandemic together, and we will get through anything else that comes our way. The good news is that people always have to eat your good food, and I'm a fan of pizza at pizzerias.
Nice. Mike, what about you? You look like you're itching to say something.
I was just going to say, you're smart enough to take a look at what else is out there. So you're going to be among the people that survive this. And, when at the other end of this, there won't be as many, and there'll be more business for you guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Words of wisdom from some of the industry's greats. I do appreciate your time, Larry, Mike, and everybody who tuned in and asked the questions. We appreciate you helping, grow the industry and figure out how we can all climb out of this muck hole together. So for PMQ webinar series, I'm Brian Hernandez, joined by Larry Fiel and Mike Reniker of PDQ POS. We hope you guys enjoyed this. We'll see you guys next time on the next PMQ webinar series.
Thank you, PMQ.